The first principle, mentalism. Everything you are about to build rests on one foundation. Get this wrong and the other six collapse. Get it right, and reality itself becomes negotiable. The first Hermetic law states it in 5 words. The all is mind. The universe is mental. It sounds almost too simple to matter. But sit with what it's actually claiming. It's saying that the world you're looking at right now, the walls around you, the device in your hand, the body you're wearing, is not fundamentally made of solid, tangible matter. It is a mental construct, a projection, a creation of what the ancient teachers called the universal mind, the all. Every element you can see, touch, and feel is part of one vast mental projection. Many people, when they first grasp this, reach for the only word our era has given them for it. They call it the Matrix. And they're not wrong. This universe that feels so concrete is an elaborate construct emerging from consciousness itself. Here is where it becomes personal. The masters of Hermeticism taught that there is an unbreakable connection between your individual mind and that universal mind. You are not separate from the all. You are a spark of it. When you think, when you create, when you imagine, you are not using some private little tool trapped inside your skull. You are wielding a fragment of the same mind that spun the galaxies into being. So a question rises immediately. If we are sparks of the all, if the creative power of the universe runs through us, why do we feel so cut off from it? Why does life so often feel like something happening to us rather than through us? The answer is the oldest one in the tradition. The human mind, limited by its experiences, its conditioning, its inherited perceptions, is trapped inside an illusion. The illusion of separateness. The belief that you are a small, isolated thing looking out at a vast, indifferent world. This is not only a mystical claim. Buddha said it plainly. All that we are is the result of what we have thought. Our mind is everything. And now, science, after centuries of insisting the opposite, has begun walking back toward this same truth. Max Planck, the father of quantum physics, said it without hedging. I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness. Consider what stands behind that statement. It comes from the double-slit experiment, first performed by Thomas Young 2 centuries ago, and made far stranger as quantum science matured. The setup is simple. Fire a single particle, an electron, at a barrier with 2 slits. Place a screen behind it to record where the particles land. When no one observes the electron, it behaves like a wave. It passes through both slits at once and creates an interference pattern. Ripples overlapping ripples, like 2 stones dropped in a still pond. But the moment you introduce an instrument to observe which slit the electron passes through, it changes its behavior. It stops being a wave. It becomes a particle. It picks one slit. The interference pattern vanishes, replaced by the mark of a single definite path. Read that again, because it is one of the most important facts ever discovered. The act of observation changed reality. The observer reached in and forced the particle to choose. Consciousness, focused on a point, determined the state of the thing it was looking at. This is the beating heart of the first law. Reality is malleable. Reality is subjective. Reality responds to the conscious mind that observes, interacts, and creates. This is what Hermes pointed to thousands of years before we had the instruments to confirm it. Picture your mind as a vast ocean. Every thought, every act of attention is a stone tossed onto the surface. Each one sends out ripples that touch everything around them. When you direct your attention to something, you throw the stone. You create the movement. You collapse pure potential into manifestation. Exactly like the electron that becomes a particle the instant it is watched. Which brings us to the danger. If the mind is the instrument of creation, then your attention is the most valuable thing you own. And we live in an age engineered to steal it. This is not paranoia. It is economics. In a world where your power to shape reality depends on the strength of your focus, whoever controls your focus controls your creative power. That is why the war for your attention is total. Every notification, every feed, every endless scroll is a hand reaching into your ocean and stirring the water until you can no longer aim a single stone. They fragment your mind, and a fragmented mind cannot create. It can only react. You stop being the author of your experience and become a mirror reflecting whatever is put in front of you. Studies confirm what the tradition warned. The flood of information and constant stimulation erodes your ability to concentrate, to remember, to hold a thought long enough to give it force. Your attention, once a blade, is worn dull. Aldous Huxley saw it coming when he wrote that distraction would become the most effective means of control ever devised. A scattered mind, running on beliefs it never chose, cannot shape its own reality, so it shapes someone else's instead. And it goes deeper than distraction, because everything you absorb, even what seems trivial, leaves a mark. It sinks past the conscious mind into the subconscious, where it hardens into belief, into fear, into pattern. The subconscious is the true engine of creation, and most people have handed it over to whoever is loudest. They let external forces program the very layer of mind that builds their world. So how do you take it back? You reclaim your attention. And nothing on earth is more effective for that than meditation. If the mind is the matrix from which everything is created, then a mind in constant motion, yanked in every direction, has lost its ability to focus and to intend. Meditation is how you gather that scattered light back into a single beam, a lens focusing sunlight to a point until it can ignite fire. In the tradition, meditation is a return to zero, the still point where nothing and everything coexist. And it is only from that stillness, that full presence, that the mind becomes a real instrument of conscious creation. Treat it as training. Every time you sit in silence and return your focus to the breath, every time a thought arises and you gently set it aside, you break another link in the chain of distraction. You are teaching the mind presence. You are teaching it non-reaction. Attention is a muscle, and this is how it grows strong enough to resist the forces that would spend it for you. But meditation does something more. It opens the door to the subconscious. And the subconscious is what actually dictates what you manifest. If you want to transform your reality, you have to descend into that deep layer and dissolve the beliefs, fears, and wounds that quietly sabotage you. In the stillness, old patterns surface to be seen, and what is seen can finally be released. This is how you align the conscious mind with the subconscious, so the two stop working against each other and start building the same world. Understand what the subconscious really is. It does not run on logic or reason. It runs on symbols, memories, emotions. Imagine it as a camera that has been recording since your earliest days. Every moment, every word, every image, and crucially the emotional charge attached to each one. Those recordings become invisible molds. They decide how you see the world, what you expect from your relationships, what you believe is possible for you. This is where limiting beliefs live. Someone who believes, beneath all conscious awareness, that they are unworthy of love will quietly push away the very people who offer it. These beliefs run like hidden programs, locking you into cycles you don't understand, filtering your perception so that the world reflects not what you want, but what you secretly believe you deserve. The subconscious is a mirror, and it shows you its contents without mercy. The good news is that molds can be recast through repetition, through affirmation, visualization, and disciplined mental practice. You can uproot old beliefs and plant new ones. If you seek abundance, you first find and dissolve the belief that says, "I am not worthy," or "the world is scarce." Then you plant new seeds. "I am worthy of abundance. The universe is generous." And you water them with emotion, because emotion is the fuel the subconscious runs on. It does not distinguish between what is real and what is vividly felt. Feel the confidence, the security, the abundance as if it were already true. And the subconscious accepts it as its new program and begins reflecting it back to you as reality. This is the first law in full. You are a co-creator of your reality. Your mind is a temple, and whatever you cultivate inside it inevitably appears in the world outside it. Surrender your attention to distraction, and you become a servant in your own temple. Reclaim it through focus, through meditation, through the deliberate reprogramming of your inner depths, and you take back the reins of creation. You choose what grows in your inner garden, and what grows there grows everywhere. The all is mind, and a fragment of that mind is looking out through your eyes right now.